Hello YouTube. In today's video we're gonna teach you how to hack the Wii U. Really cool system. You can see where the Switch came out of, the evolution after the Wii to the Wii U. Not a lot of titles for this game, but what the hacking is going to allow you to do is to emulate older systems. That includes GameCube, SNES, NES. You can turn it into a virtual system and emulate on it all day. The other thing you could do is you can download ROMs, backups to your Wii U games and actually get those running. You can also install updates as well. For example, I hacked my Wii U. I wanted to play Zelda Breath of the Wild, and when you download the ROM for Breath of the Wild, it will not load unless it's updated. And you'll see when we do our update here, you kind of have to turn off the Wi-Fi, the updating system, so your Nintendo doesn't get bricked. So we'll show you how to do that, and then you will be able to run updated versions of Wii U games. So if you're wondering why would you hack your Wii U in the first place, is A, you get access to a lot of third-party apps and things like that, and then two, you can install all these cool things on it that you can't do on the stock firmware. Some things to know: I will be using the Wii U hacks guide. I've followed a lot of YouTubers. I've been on the forums. I've read a lot of things, and in my opinion, it was a lot of trial and error, and this was my favorite way of doing it. So do note that we are going to do that, as well as when we get later into this tutorial, when you get to the backup part, there's two options. We are going to go with the Haxchi option, and in my opinion, after looking at it, I mean, it's a little more work and a little bit, you do have to pay, like it's going to be $7 or so, but to get the virtual console working, but it's just so much easier than the browser method. So you can do the browser method, still follow this thing, but we will be doing the Haxchi method. So with all that said, please come along. We're going to go ahead and do this step by step by step. Like I mentioned, shout out to the Wii U hacks people, but I feel like there's a couple steps where you might be a little lost. You might not know what's going on. And so I'm going to show you every single step on my computer so you can follow along. A couple other preliminary things that they wrote, can you actually brick your Wii? Yes, you can. It's not a really big deal because there's a minute chance. You probably won't. If you're not good with computers at all, though, you have zero computer knowledge, I would not recommend this. But if you're even somewhat savvy, it's not that hard. The other thing is the Wii that I hacked was on 5.5.3, which as of today is the latest version of it. Also, if you're looking to get a Wii U, I might recommend GameStop. I got mine certified refurbished from GameStop, and it was about $120 with the gamepad and everything you need. And it was in really good condition, to be honest. It was the premium refurbished, though, not the regular refurbished. I think I paid an extra $10 for the premium. And then I got the 32 gigabyte internal memory version. Now, in order to do this, you are going to need a 32 gigabyte SD card. You can have a micro SD card, but it has to have the big SD card adapter on it. So you do need a 32 gigabyte SD card. You can do a 16 gigabyte as well, but I recommend a 32, especially if you're going to be installing big games like Xenoblade or Zelda Breath of the Wild. The bigger space is going to make installing them a lot easier. The other thing you might be wondering was like, whoa, I only get 32 gigabytes. No, this SD card is what's going to hack the system and how you're going to transfer games onto it. What I did is I have a 200 gigabyte micro SD card in a USB thumb drive. So I have a 200 gigabyte thumb drive that is connected to the USB port, and that's where I'm actually installing the games to. So we're going to hack it with a 32 gigabyte card, but then you can add a hard drive onto it. You can add a USB drive onto it. You can do whatever you want, okay, afterwards. The reason why you need a 32 gig is so you can do FAT32. A 64 gigabyte SD card, you can't easily get FAT32 on it. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we need to download all these files. It is telling you to set up your SD card here, but let's do that later. Let's just go ahead and get all our files here. So I'm just going to, open in a new tab. Okay, that's a strictly, so we save that one. Open a new tab. You can save that. It's a direct download. But you notice this one, the latest release, the Homebrew app. It's a little confusing because you're going to go to these web pages and they're going to have multiple file formats for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and so Mocha was a zip. I don't think we're going to use Mocha in this one, but I'm just going to save it anyways to have it. Okay, GP installer. Okay, installed as well. Homebrew launcher. Let's go ahead and open that. NAND dumper, Haxchi, and then the NNU patcher. Okay. So you know some of those are going to prompt me to just go ahead and download them like I just did there on the bottom. I'm just go ahead and you can see they all finished downloading. I already downloaded that before. Cool. So a few of them, as you saw, config, and then Mocha. That's just a direct download link. Others of these will open up a GitHub. And when you open up the GitHub, like for example here, we want the Homebrew App Store. So for that, we want this one, Wii U extract to zip. So we'll go ahead and click that. And then we'll go ahead and save it. Okay, so we're done there. Then we have the Homebrew launcher install. We need the payload. Let's go ahead and save it. We're done there. That one was a download. We're done there. This was disk to app. I don't think we're actually going to use this, but let's just go ahead and get it. HID to vpad. Oh, here it is right here. Assets, save me mod5.zip. Let's go ahead and save. And then we got Haxchi. And CBHC. Okay, then we got the NAND dumper. Save. And then we've got this one. We want the Homebrew launcher version 1.4.zip. And then here we want the latest version of the Homebrew launcher channel, version 2.1. Cool. Okay, so now we've downloaded all these files. And now we have to prep our SD card. We have to go through all these steps here. So what I've done here is on the right side, I have all those files. I just downloaded it. On the left side, I have my SD card. So let's go ahead and we're going to go back in the instructions really quick. Remember, FAT32, 32 kilobits. Volume, cook format is okay. Make sure it's FAT32. Let's start. Okay. All right, format complete. Let's go ahead and Windows key E and go back to our empty drive. All right, create a folder named Wii U. So right click, new folder. I'm gonna go Wii U. Okay, let's go all lowercase. Okay, Wii, W-I-I-U. Create a folder named install. Okay, new folder, install. And you'll see later in this tutorial, you're gonna drop all your ROMs into this folder here once it's all hacked, and you're gonna be able to install all those ROMs and games you want. Copy the apps folder from the Homebrew App Store zip. So let's go ahead and find the Homebrew App Store. So the Wii U extract to SD is the App Store. So you can actually do that. I kind of like doing this better. Just throw the apps in the Wii U folder. Okay, cool. Then we need to do the payload file. Okay, Wii U. Cool, so we've got payload, we've got that. Next thing is copy the contents of the Homebrew Launcher v4. There we go, right here to your SD card. So again, that's Wii U. I just like to throw in the whole apps folder into the Wii U folder. If it ever asks you to overwrite in this process, go ahead and say yes. Copy the contents of the Haxchi zip to the root of the file. So Haxchi. All right. Is there anything here we need to do? Apps. There's a Haxchi file there. So we're going to go just throw this whole thing in there. All right, cool. And then we have copy the contents of the CBHC into the root of the SD card. And as you see, we're at root right here, or just the SD card. That's what they mean by root. Even if you don't use some of this stuff, it should still be. Copy the config.txt file over to the Haxchi. You can see there's already a config file here, so we want to go ahead and get our config. And they want the config.txt, that's going to be this one right here. So we're going to go to this. Do you want to replace? Yes. Let's go ahead and replace it. Create a folder named HBC in the install folder. So HBC stands for Homebrew Channel. If you're wondering what you're doing, Homebrew Channel, you're creating the Homebrew Channel folder there. Create the content of the Homebrew launcher. Homebrew launcher, we have that one. It's actually this one. Homebrew launcher channel goes where? Into the HBC. Yeah. So this is kind of getting ahead of myself, but all the install files are going to look something like this, like games and everything. They're going to look like this. They're going to have .app files in there. So that's all. They basically just created a Homebrew channel installer. Basically is what we just created there. Next, we need to copy the save me mod folder to the Save Me mod zip to the Wii apps. So we'll go Wii apps, and then we need to go back here to all the stuff we downloaded. Now we're going to get to the Wii mod, and they want you to put it here. So we'll put that file there. So there we go. We copied that over. Next, copy the contents of the WP installer. There we go. Into the root of your SD card. So let's go back to root. Put that in. Disk2 app, which I haven't used as well. I'm just throwing you the whole tutorial into the root. And then we have the HID to VPad. These are all external software that allows you to do different hacks and run different systems. You may use some of these, you may not. Might as well get your SD card ready in case you want to install any of this stuff. We are going to use the patcher though, the next one after this, after the HID to VPad, and then we have the patcher. And then we have the Mocha, which I don't think we're going to use in this tutorial, but it's another method to use. Let's go ahead and replace the files and copy the contents of Mocha to root. And then copy the Wii U INI to the Wii Apps Mocha. Now we're done. We have now successfully prepared our 32 gigabyte SD card to start in the hacking process. Right now I'm just setting up the Wii. I've done this a couple times now. Once with a Wii U I bought from GameStop, another one I bought from someone on eBay who had just reset it. And all I'm doing is I'm setting up my Nintendo ID, which you do need to do, the time, get it on Wi-Fi as well, and then we're gonna load the Nintendo eShop in a moment. If your Wii already has a bunch of games already installed on it and all your user information, all that will be safe. We're also going to be backing it up as well. You're going to follow the same steps. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to go to the Nintendo shop, start. I can actually go ahead and do this on the big screen for you. Hey. So easiest thing to do is go ahead and search. We're going to go ahead at the time of recording. Brain Age is one of the cheapest games to get. So yes, you have to buy a game. You can do it without buying this game, but trust me, proceed to purchase screen. This is by far the cheapest, and it's worth it. It makes it so much easier when you hack Wii. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add $6.99. All right, we'll go ahead and purchase. All right, so download will start automatically. You should just be able to go home from here and just wait a little while, and it should appear on your home screen. All right, cool. Well, you should still be able to see in the corner over here. See where I'm waving? We now have Brain Age installed. There we go. So it's at this point where on the front of your Wii U, you want to go ahead and open up the little slot here and put in the SD card. I have a micro SD with an SD adapter. Go ahead and click that in. And then also, if you're going to use a hard drive, you want to go ahead and hook up a USB hard drive here. I like thumb drives, and go ahead and get that all hooked up on there as well. So you can go ahead and format your mass storage device, whether it's an external hard drive or a thumb drive. In system settings, there's a formatting area in here. You can just go over here to data management, format USB storage, and then go ahead and go next. Make sure it's connected, stick it in. Go ahead and say yes. Okay, go ahead and format. And now my storage device is all ready. If you want to install games on there, put ROMs on there, etc., it should now be ready. Again, that's not your micro SD. It's not your SD card. Your SD card is something different. The SD card is what's going to allow us to hack the system. We're not storing games on it at the moment. The next thing we're going to do is go to our internet browser on the Wii U browser, start that up. All right, we can get rid of this curtain, but we want to go ahead and enter URL. It's going to be Wii U exploit .xyz. Okay. And then you want to go ahead and run Homebrew Launcher. And if you set up your SD card properly here, oh, sorry, no, that's not really focused. It's still loading. I got white screens on everything. You're not missing anything. We got a logo now. There we go. All right, and look at all this stuff. Our SD card and all the apps we have on there are here. So it's at this point where if you want to, you can back up your Wii U. And so to do that, you want the NAND dumper. Go ahead and load on the bottom. Load that up. So you want yes, yes, optional, yes, yes, and then press A on the controller to dump to your NAND. You can't really see that, but with the white text, it is dumping. So here you want to take these 4 files here and just back them up to like your hard drive or something like that. Like I can just go ahead and transfer them onto one of my extra hard drives on my computer. And then if I ever want to go back, I'll have those files and they'll be ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and delete them off the micro SD card because I don't need them. I've backed them up somewhere else. And you can go ahead and remove. And then now we're back to normal. So let's go ahead and take it back out of our computer and put it back into our Nintendo. All right, we have successfully dumped our NAND. So if we want to go back to stock, we can very easily. We've purchased Brain Age. You can see it there in the bottom right-hand corner of our screen. And now we're on step number 5, Haxchi. So we're going to go ahead and launch the Haxchi installer. In order to do that, we need to go back to the Internet Explorer and run the exploit. So go ahead and go to Internet Browser. All right, and it's going to say, are you sure you want to run? Yeah, let's run it. And so this is one way to launch the Homebrew channel every time. It's just such a pain. You're going to see once we do this Haxchi, it's going to be on our main menu. We don't have to go to the browser anymore. We don't even need to be connected to the internet anymore. It's the way to get it set up. So a few little things to get done in the beginning, but here we go. So Haxchi installer, let's go ahead and load. That easy, right? Haxchi load. And then which game? Okay, let's go ahead and press A on our controller because, yeah, we want to use Brain Age. Remember, we just paid for that game. And so this will install Haxchi, remove, and reinstall game. If you're sure, press A. A. I'm sure. Let's do this. So now that we have Haxchi, let's go ahead and run it the first time. There we go. I'm just gonna it's gonna be similar to restarting your system. All right, and then this time we're gonna launch it again, but hold down A on our game controller. I'm holding down A, and it should launch us into the Homebrew. All right, so I was holding A the whole time. I didn't let go until I saw the Homebrew launcher there. All right, so once we're in the Homebrew launcher, we're going to launch WUP installer. Load that. On the bottom, there's a load button. And then there we go, the Homebrew channel. Okay, well, there's a green check on this right now. So green check. And then the bottom button is install. Are you sure you want to install? Yes. Do you want to install on the NAND or the USB? I'm just going to put this on the NAND. You can put it on either one. Actually, you should do the video recommending putting it on there, because then it'll work even when your USB storage isn't plugged in. All right, successfully installed. It's okay. And guess what happens when we go back to the home screen? I think it actually might take us back to Homebrew. It's gonna take us back to Homebrew or home. Okay, yeah, it took us back home. Oh no, it took us back here. So now let's go ahead and hit home to go back. Home again to go back. Here, we go to the next screen here. We now have the Homebrew launcher on our home screen. So instead of going to the internet browser and running the exploit every single time, we now have the custom firmware installed and we have the Homebrew launcher. The last thing you want to do though is you do want to block the internet from this Nintendo Wii from ever getting updates again. And we need to make sure we do that just so it doesn't brick it and, you know, we can keep this thing hacked for a really long time. So that goes section 2, blocking system updates. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and go to system settings. So let's go ahead and go to settings. Then we're going to go to connections. All right, so here we are in settings. Let's go ahead and go to internet. So we want to go ahead and go to connections. We want to go ahead and select the connection, change settings, go over to the next one, DNS, don't auto obtain, and then we want to go ahead and type these in, 168.235, 092, 108. Alright, next one, 081, 004, 127, period. There's periods in all the between the 3 numbers, and then 020. Okay, confirm, done, back, save it. No, you can just quit. And we're done. Alright, we are now fully hacked. And when we go back to the main screen, back, quit. We now have Haxchi installed. So every time we boot up, we want to load Haxchi before we go into a game, especially if it's a game that you're running off of a backup. And you can go to the Homebrew channel and install all sorts of third-party apps through Homebrew. And here we are back on the Wii menu, and that's it. We now have a Wii U hacked. You can throw as many games as you can fit on the USB device you have connected. The sky is the limit. So there you go, Haxchi on board. From here, you can remove your SD card, put it in your laptop, and then download games, whether they be emulation games, RetroArch, other third-party apps, drop them to your SD card, and what you'll do is you'll just run Haxchi on a first boot of your Wii U, go to the Homebrew channel, go to that WUP installer, and you can go ahead and install any kind of aftermarket, games, and the sky's the limit. You can do a lot with the Wii U, and that's why it's so great. You can also do Disc to App, where you can put in CDs and rip them. You have a few options of what you want to do with your Wii, and you can really expand on this and make this a 1,000 plus game retro gaming system. It's very versatile with that, but I'm now giving you the keys so you can do with it what you want at this point. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll catch you on the next one.